Hello, everybody. Come on in. Come on in. This is going to be a fun day. Workshop day number 2. And guys, we're going to be continuing to talk about asset flipping. And look, I've done asset flipping I've started doing a lot of asset flipping, sort of preparing for 2026, which is going to be, hopefully my 4th commercial game. I'll start working on it. I'm going to do a lot of asset flipping in that game. And I think asset flipping is kind of just the way of the future. We did a whole, lecture yesterday before I got started on showing you asset flipping. We did a whole lecture, so be sure to watch that video. I'll put a link in the description. I may have forgotten to do that for today's video, but we talk all about that. Asset flipping, but we also talk about other tools as well. So be sure to watch that video. Today, specifically, we're going to talk about asset flipping, using assets, using textures, and all of this is going to be free. All of it is going to be royalty-free and legal. I'm going to talk about that because we didn't do that yesterday, but I'm going to do that today. Give me a sec here. Okay. So let's go ahead, and what we're going to be doing, by the way, is we're going to be trying to replicate a AAA game. We're going to try and replicate Resident Evil Requiem. And so we're going to do our best. Is it going to look the exact same? No. But it's going to look similar. And I think you guys are going to be surprised what we can achieve with free assets that are royalty free. There is a link in the description for any downloads that we're using today. I uploaded to GitHub yesterday for you guys all of the modular pieces that I created. And you can use these alongside Pro Builder. So yeah. Let's see here. Oh, by the way, I wanted to say a huge thank you to Alexander, John, Tyler, Russell, Ian, Michael, Justin, Soren, Ferretin, Chad, Alex, Ramon, Iggy, Charles. You guys enrolled yesterday in full-time game dev, and it means the world to me that you would trust me in your New Year's, maybe perhaps your New Year's resolution to start making indie games and to start a game studio, and to do it with sort of a business sense, which is what this course is. And by the way, if you guys want to join full-time game dev, I'll give you a shout out in the next stream that I do, which will probably be on Monday. But you're going to get 50% off full-time game dev, and you're going to also get my 2D art program and my 3D art program completely free. But guys, it's only for this New Year's sale. And you're probably thinking, well, you said that about Black Friday. Well, yeah, Black Friday and New Year's, those are my big sales, okay? And then I do them seasonally. So those are my 2 big ones. I focus a lot on these sales at the end of the year because, hey, it's Black Friday and New Year's. So this is going to end in 12 days, and frankly, it'll probably end before that because these seats are actually selling a lot faster than I expected. I think we have 80 left, and it's only been going for less than 2 days. So yeah. And by the way, look, if you're wondering if this program's legitimate and who's this YouTuber guy, for me, I'm on my 3rd commercial release. I've been published 3 times. I've gone full-time 3 separate occasions with publishers, crowdfunding, and then my games eventually sold on pretty much every platform. Hit the Steam front page, got great reviews. But these are real students who went full-time, which is so cool to see. So be sure to check out the link below and see if this is something you're interested in. And just read the reviews. And hey, be my guest. Reach out to these people. Ask them what they think about the program. And if you're a student in the program, let me know what you think about it in the chat. You're going to learn not only how to make games in Unity, Godot, Unreal. You can pick any engine you want to learn. Don't do all of them. Just pick one. But you're also going to learn how to actually make the game, code the game, hit the Steam front page, get funded on a Kickstarter, pitch to publishers, get funding with just a demo. All that stuff you're going to learn in the program, so check it out in the link below. Okay, so here's what we're going to do today, guys. For 2026, I want you guys to start thinking, is it possible with the right techniques to use completely free assets and make something that kind of looks like this, right? Whoa. Something that kind of looks like this. Is that possible? Is that really possible? Honestly, I don't know. I do know. I could make something that looks kind of like this, okay? And we're going to do it right now, okay? So there's a couple things that I wanted to mention about yesterday's live stream. the first thing is someone commented and they said, Thomas, your texture resolutions are wrong. They should be power of 2, which is so true. I was doing 1080p for some reason. So we want to do 1024 or double that or triple that, right? You want to make sure they're power of 2 so that they map well, okay? So I went in and changed all these textures to be 1024 by 2048 by 2048. Another thing that I did is I changed the trim here. I changed this trim piece to be not a horizontal texture, which is crazy that I even did that. This is now a square texture and it's just unwrapped properly. Okay, so again, all these modular pieces that you see here, this doorway, that's in the link in the description. You guys can download those for free. They're on GitHub. Okay. The second thing that somebody mentioned is that, hey, Thomas, it really sucks that you're using textures off of Google. Can you please use free legal ones? And I sort of woke up this morning thinking, you know what? That would actually be, the mic sounds weird. Hang on. Let me take a look and see. The mic sounds weird. Is that better? Is that better, guys? Does the mic sound weird? Check 1, 2, and 2. Check 1, 2, and 2. Check, 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 check. That should be good. Does it sound bad? Are we good? Okay, mic sounds good. Okay, check 1, 2, and 2. Check, 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 check. Okay. Another thing you mentioned, what I was talking about this and I got sidetracked. A lot of you are like, well, Thomas, I want to use legal assets because I want to know if I can make a game for free and legally and sell it. And so I thought about it and I was like, you know what? Let's do that really quick. So there are 2 options available to us. And we're going to just really quickly reskin these. Take pictures with your iPhone of various elements throughout your house. Or go out. Take pictures of stuff. So I went out to breakfast with my daughter today and I took a picture of the floor because I loved the wood floor. And so let's do that. Let's go ahead and really quickly incorporate that wood floor here. Okay. I'm going to turn off the effects here. There we go. Let's go ahead and do that really quick. So I'm going to go ahead and open up this texture. So this wood floor currently, this one's illegal. I mean, if I was to sell it, right? If I was to commercially sell this game, this is illegal. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up that new texture that I took a picture with on my iPhone today. Give me a second. I'm going to find it. So this is the one I took a picture of today. And I really liked it. So what we're going to do is just use this. And I've never done this before. I'll be completely honest with you guys. I've never done this before. But we're going to use this and try and just sort of straighten it up and use various pieces for our hardwoods here. And then I'm going to talk to you guys about some other methods that I did some research on today for you guys because I felt bad about yesterday that you guys were like, Thomas, we really need more guidance than that. I felt bad about it. But yeah, I'm gonna tell you about some websites that you can use as well because there's a lot of websites available that we can use. So that looks good to me. I'm going to stretch it over. I'm going to talk all about, proper tiling, all of that. But I'm going to go ahead and just take this and take that there, mask it out. And for this one, I'm going to flip it horizontally like that. So now I've got a texture that can be used that's completely legal. Okay. Now, there's probably some legal precedent where the owner of the restaurant sees this and they go, that's my floor. And I didn't tell you you could use pictures of my floor. This is never going to happen. But I guess there's precedent there. But this, in my opinion, is fully legal. And this is what Valve did for Half-Life 2. They went out and took a bunch of pictures, right? So there you go. This texture looks so real. That's right. All right, so there's our new hardwood floors, right? Looks good to me. And we're going to get it to loop properly and also not look like it's a bunch of different colors. So I'm going to crop that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale it so that it's, not so, so that it's not so big. So we'll do something like that. I'm going to flip it. And do you guys remember we have a color palette that we're using as well? So this is our color palette. Okay. And, frankly, this color palette's not really matching this one. So let's see here. That red, I'm going to reduce the saturation. I realized this morning that this color palette probably wasn't going to work for us. The brown is good. The blue is good. We just need a white. Okay, so the white is going to be like this color here. And increase it here. And then maybe go a little bit more greenish. There we go. So there's the white we're going to use for this scene. Okay, again, very similar to Resident Evil Requiem. So that's our color palette. I'm going to grab this color here, and I'm just going to make sure it matches. Okay, so I'm going to do a colorize for this because the hues and lightness are all over the place. And I'm just going to darken it and try and match it just like so. So there's our hardwoods. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce the opacity for this so we still get some of those hue shifts in there. Okay. Now, some of these are a little bit too bright. And so I'm going to darken them manually by selecting just those portions. And I'm going to go to hue saturation and just drop down the darkness. You see? Make it a little bit more red. Now it's not so obviously shifting colors. Okay. I'm going to merge all this together. One other thing I want to do, this right here, I want to actually flip this set. And we'll talk about making this perfectly tiled, okay? But what I'm going to do is flip this set so it's not so obvious. And then this one, I'm going to scale, move it like this, and then scale. I just don't want it to be obvious that we're tiling this. Okay, so I'm going to save that, take a look at it in Unity. So far, so good. Okay, that dark one here is really bothering me. So what I'm going to do, it's the one we just tiled. So what I'm going to do is take, let's see, which one can we use over again? Probably this one here. I'm going to take that one. And I'm going to sort of create a nice little weird blend between the two. I'm going to flip it. And what we're going to do here, guys, is we're going to just get all of our textures colorized properly, tiled properly, okay? So they're looping cleanly. We're not going to do normal maps right now. We're not going to do smoothness maps. We're going to do any of that. We're just going to make the albedo look perfect, okay? That's all we want to do, or you could call it the diffuse. We want the diffuse to look perfect, and that's that, okay? Here's what it looks like lit. That gray one is causing some problems. You'll notice that when you have a really unique slice or a unique portion of your texture, it actually causes problems. It makes things look repetitive. So weirdly enough, if we're really repetitive in the texture itself, like this, it actually looks less repetitive. Isn't that weird? When it tiles. It's so weird. So let's move that one over a little bit so we can see that line there. Good. And then this one is actually causing problems, weirdly enough. So I'm going to grab that and move it over here. Save it. So far, so good. Now that it's that dark one. So what I'm going to do is just take this, put it over top, and just reduce the opacity a little bit. There we go. Awesome. And then one more. We're just basically making this look a little less unique, honestly. So it fits in better. There we go. All right, hardwoods look good, and then we're just going to loop it, okay? We're going to tile it. Hardwoods are particularly difficult to tile because you kind of have to make it look like it's obvious or that there's rhyme and reason. So we're going to try one thing here, and we're just going to flip it horizontally, and we're going to see if this creates a very clean loop or tiling. Let's try that. Oh, and by the way, I need to make this right here do that. There we go. so they're all the same width. Yay. Okay, hardwoods looked pretty good. The only one that's bugging me is this right here. And that is being caused by this right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this longer. Like that. And honestly, yeah, just do this. Let's try that. Good. And that one, it just looks like it's too unique, honestly. That's the problem with using this sort of barnwood looking hardwood texture. So we could probably do something like this. Yeah, we're going to need to do this. That one's just too unique, honestly. Save it. Yay. Okay, so that is fully legal from Thomas's world brought into the game. Isn't that cool? So that's perfect, man. I mean, this is a little strange right there. So let's fix that. This one I'm just gonna basically do this. Just like that. And then I'm gonna do this. That should make that not look so weird. And that one right there is pretty odd. It could definitely take you out of the moment when you we do this here. When you start seeing tiling like that. There we go. Awesome. Hardwoods look good, guys. We're not worried about creating normal maps or smoothness values or shines. We're not worried about any of that. What we're worried about is color and texture and tiling. Color, texture, tiling. We'll worry about the normal maps later. Okay? Okay, so we've got one other issue here. Some of these, we kind of lost the shadows, okay? So I'm going to move in here and just sort of fudge the shadows a little bit because we want it to look like there's lines here. There we go. That's good. 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 There we go. One there as well. And I want a lot of these. I'm going to merge all these together. I'm going to mask out some of them so that it makes the hardwoods look like it's warping. Now, obviously, guys, we could go to a free website, and we'll talk about this in a second, and get these, legally. But if you want to take pictures of your own world, you can do that and create hardwood like that. And we can also create little pieces here that are, let's see here, creating more of an edge. Okay, and if you flip this, by the way, flip horizontal and go white. So I'm going to invert this. And then I merge these two together. And I go to overlay. It looks like I could just put this all over the place where I think I need to create two different lips. Does that make sense? One there. This one we can remove. There we go. Let's try that out. This one we could probably move over here. Let's see if this helps. Oh, yes, it did. Very good. All right, we got hardwoods done. And this is from Thomas's World. That's pretty cool to think that that started as a photo from breakfast this morning with my daughter. Isn't that cool? Okay. All right. So I do think we need one of these lines here up at the top there. There we go. There it is. Yay. That was the one that was missing. Sweet, guys. So that looks awesome. Let's do one more photo. This one is a door. Okay, so this door is completely illegal. I cannot use this door. If I was to want to ship this game, I can't use this door. So what do I do? Well, just take a picture of a door in your house. Okay, and we can add grunge to it, make it look dirty and messy, all that stuff. But I have this white door that I took a picture of this morning. It was just before I was going to go to the gym to work out, and I thought that door looks like a really good door. So I'm going to take this door and I'm going to use it in the game. Okay. So there we go. I'm going to paste that. And then we're just going to scale this, or I'm sorry, distort it so that it looks straight. And I'm just going to do this. Now it helps to create some straight lines to know how to make this straight. And I'm going to get rid of that doorknob. And again, this is not crazy what we're doing. Frankly, this is how textures are made. A lot of times we are completely distanced from how textures are actually made because we're just, grabbing them off of websites. I'm going to contrast this up a bit. We also want it to match that brown color, right? Actually, no, I'm so sorry. The trim is like this white color. So I'm glad I actually grabbed a white door because this is really the color we want to use right here. And we'll add peeling paint and stuff like that just by using, there we go. That's good enough. I don't think we need to do anything else. We can use some other websites where we have grunge and stuff, but let's just save that really quick and take a look at how it looks in the game. So now we have a white door. Okay, that's from Thomas's house. Isn't that cool? Is it straight? Let's see here. Is that straight? Yep. Awesome. Okay, so let's now shift gears. I've talked about how to use photos, but we can also use websites that offer commercially free textures. These websites are very limited, okay? Yes, this is all going to be available after this is done. And we'll do a supercut of this as well and put it on YouTube. But let's go ahead. And by the way, do you guys have any questions? Is this making sense? Let me go ahead and go to my bookmarks. There's a website called Polyhaven. Perhaps some of you have heard of this website. It's called Polyhaven, and to all of my research that I've done, everything looks legitimately legal. So it's really up to you guys to be sure you read the license and make sure it works for your project. But I'm going to go to the textures here, and I'm just going to type in grunge and see if we can find anything. Oh, like a dirty, rusty door. That's good. One of the reasons I like this website is because it really does break down all the different textures for you. And there's also no attribution. So I could just quickly copy and paste all this stuff, right? So I could just look for like, okay, do I like any of this? For my door? No, not really. What about paint? Can we type in peeling paint? Yep, there we go. That's what we want. Perfect. Okay, so this is exactly what we wanted. I think that's all I want. I'm actually just going to screenshot this. I don't even want to download it. But this is fully legal, isn't it? So I could take this, and remember, we're sort of creating a squashed door like this. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to put it up here. I'm going to decrease the saturation. And I'm just going to crank up the contrast. I'm going to set it to multiply. And we're going to fade out portions of it. Okay. Crank up the contrast a little bit here so it's not so dark. Because we're making a horror game, right? So we're just going to keep cranking up that contrast. So I'm just really going to have the cracks available to me, right? And maybe put one down here. That's all I really need. And now we have a door from Thomas's house with cracks on it. Now it's a little stretched, isn't it? So we really need to go pretty wide here, right? So what I'm going to do is just really widen this stuff like that. Should do it. Let's double check here. Okay, there we go. Looks good to me, man. And if you turn on lighting in particular, for example, let's grab this light here. Again, we're not worried about smoothness maps, guys. We're not, here, we can just move this one over. We're not worried about smoothness maps. We're worried about just the texture right now, okay? Let's go ahead and move on to trim. Okay, so that's, I'm sorry, let's go ahead and move on to the wall plaster. If I type in this website here, if I type in, let's see here, plaster, see if we can find anything. Just a wall of plaster, plastered wall. That's great, man. That's all we need. And you'll notice they come with normal maps, right? So if I download all of this, let's see what happens, what kind of files we get. I'm going to extract all these and see. Okay, good. They're squares. Awesome. Now, there's no normal map for some reason. It's an EXR file. I don't love that. Let me open that up in Photoshop and see if it works. Yeah, I guess that's fine. Okay, we got an EXR file. We've got JPEGs, PNGs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open up my wallpaper PSD. This is the one I was working on. And I'm going to bring in this image here. Okay, let's make sure our image size is correct. I want to double check this. Yep. Is that correct? Yeah, that's correct. All right, cool. So we have our wallpaper file. It's called wallpaper. It's not really wallpaper, is it? I'm going to remove this from yesterday. And this is what we want to do for our walls. So let's double check and see how, oh, that looks great. Very good. What do you guys think? And we're going to go ahead and bring in the roughness maps, the normal maps. I don't need to save those as PSDs. So I'm just going to bring those in into the folder here. I'm actually going to create a new folder called Plaster, and it's going to be inside of the textures folder. Give me a sec here. Where did it go? There it is. I'm going to call this Plaster. This is going to be right here. I'm going to call this Plaster because it was called wallpaper yesterday. But I'm just going to go ahead and grab all those files that I just downloaded. Again, they're all in the folder that I downloaded from that website. And we have I need our roughness map. Honestly, that's all I really need. And you know what, guys? Watch this. Well, let's just do the normal map really quick. I'm going to open this in Explorer, and I'm going to rename this to a clean roughness. I'm sorry, this is normal. And I hope EXR opens well in Unity. We'll see. There it is. Good. All right, and we're just going to make sure we set it to a normal map. Hit apply. And we're going to see how this looks. This is going to be called Plaster. And then I'm going to drag in that normal for the plaster. And we're going to see what happens. If I set it 25, yep, it works. And it looks really good too. Sweet. Okay, what we can do with the roughness map is perhaps something you've never done before. Let's make sure we name this correctly here. Plaster normal. All right. I'm going to open up this plaster file in Photoshop, okay? And by the way, we want this to be the correct color. Let's double check the color on Resident Evil. So we want it to be that blue color. So I forgot to do that. So let's go to our color scheme here. So sorry, I'm backing up here. Here's our plaster. Let's make sure we get the right color, okay? Hue, saturation, shift. Darkness, saturation up. That's it. That's it. That's the one. Okay, save that and let's take a look. Awesome. That looks so good. Yes. Okay, good. When it comes to the roughness of our material, roughness is the specular information. It's the shine generated by lights. So when we put a light near this, we want to see that almost like it's got like a eggshell or a satin finish on the paint. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open that up. What I could do is I can take the roughness map that we downloaded, and I'm going to set it as an alpha channel. Click OK here, and you'll notice there's no information there. I'm curious. Okay, and that's the normal map. Hang tight. I'm curious if the roughness map has any information on it. It really doesn't. I don't really see anything there. I mean, maybe if we cranked up the contrast, we could see it. There it is. Okay, so this is our roughness map. I'm gonna go ahead and crank it up so that I could see strong contrast. And I'm actually gonna put this in the alpha channel of the PSD. That way I can edit it all within the PSD. When you put it on the alpha channel, what's cool is Unity can interpret that data as the specular. So let me show you. I'm gonna set this as the alpha channel. I'm gonna save this, and I'm gonna go back to my material here in Unity and go to our plaster. I'm gonna set the albedo alpha as the source for our shine or for our smoothness. And the theory is, as I crank it up, we get a nice specular. So that's super shiny, isn't it? Do something like that. So I think that's good. There's part of me that feels like I need to invert it. And let's also double check our lighting source here to make sure we don't have any environmental lighting. We don't. So I'm curious as to what's going on here. Let's double check. I think what we need to do is decrease so that it's pretty dark, so that we're only getting specks. And in fact, I do wonder if we need to invert this. Let's try this. Just so basically the surface of it is really shiny. Let's try that and see what this does. Yeah, that feels much better. Let's take a look at this one over here. All right, let's go to our inspector here, take a look at our plaster. I'm not seeing any smoothness. Let's crank up the values here. Let's try that. There we go. That's what I wanted. Well, that looks weird, actually. Yeah, how it was actually correct. The way specular works is basically you want the parts of the wall that aren't touched by the elements. So imagine a hand running across a wall. You want that to slowly become less and less shiny. The parts that don't get touched are the deep sort of rivets, right? And so I just wanted to make sure that that's actually communicated properly here. So let's double check. Okay. All right, that works for me. Yes, that works for me. There we go. Okay, very good. Okay, plaster looks good. We could go ahead and do that for our ceiling as well. Let's double check. That ceiling is a white plaster. Okay, so really all I got to do is go into my plaster here, and I'm going to turn off the color and make it desaturated. And then I can create two materials out of that white. Okay, so I'm going to do plaster blue, and then I'm going to do plaster white. Okay, so there's our white one. And then we're going to do blue, which is that tealish blue, right? There we go. So I'm going to put that plaster white up here, and boom, we got it. Isn't that cool, guys? It actually looks kind of realistic, doesn't it? Despite it just being a bunch of planes and quads. Yeah, I think a reflection probe would actually do a lot of work for us here. We're not going to really talk about reflection probes, but you're correct. You are correct. We'll probably do it. Honestly, we'll probably do it. We're probably going to need to do a reflection probe. But let's stay focused on our textures. I love this texture. That looks so good. Completely free, right? And we'll talk about doing a normal map here. I'm going to show you a trick for a normal map for our wood floors. But let's go ahead and, I mean, I could. Do you guys want to do the normal map for the floor? Now that we're basically done with our textures, we're going to move forward with our trim, windows, and the floors. But let's go ahead and do the specular for the floor, okay? There is a program called Materialize. It's an old program. It's a very old program. But I'm going to go ahead and use it to create our normal maps and our roughness maps and height maps and all that for our wood floors. I'm going to export this as a JPEG. I'm just going to call this wood floor. I'm going to put it in a folder. Actually, let's go ahead and put it in the desktop here. The reason why is because Materialize's navigation system really sucks. Hopefully this works here. This is pretty old. And I'll put a link in the description for you guys. But after I finish this video. And by the way, those of you who are just joining us, remember you could check out Full-Time Game Dev below and get 50% off for New Year's. Okay, which is my program. It's my massive game dev program. We'll start with you got to start with the diffuse, and we're going to click the O for open. And I'm going to go to my desktop here, and hopefully I can grab our wood floor here. This is the wood floor we created. We like this wood floor. It's finalized. So what I can do is, starting from the left, create all of the different, it's going to try and auto create all of the different textures here. So this one I'm going to click create, and it's going to try and create a height map. So it's showing me the height map here. Okay. It looks fine. We need a height map in order to create a normal map. So now I'm going to create my normal map. Looks pretty good. Going to set that. Metallic map, we're not going to use it, but we're going to create it. Okay. Smoothness map, we're going to create. There it is. Good. Does that make sense, right? Let's think about smoothness for a sec. Does it make sense that the deepest parts, the parts that I would need to take a little pen to, if let's say I got a crumb stuck down in one of those crevices, and I wanted to pull it out, does it make sense that those have no smoothness? Remember, black is no shine. Does that make sense? It does not. Okay, because as your feet run along that poly, it's going to slowly make the stuff that can be touched, the highest surfaces, no smoothness. The deepest parts are going to be the highest shine. Okay, that's my theory. We can also take a look at it and see how it looks. Okay, does that look like it's correct? Actually, it kind of does. It kind of does. The metallic is causing some issues. We'll remove the metallic in a sec. Let's go ahead and remove show full material. Preview, create, there we go. Do I want to invert it? Is it possible to invert it? I don't think it is. Yeah, there we go. Let's take a look at that. Actually, no, we got to create it first. Thomas, you got to create it first, buddy. Yeah, we got to create it first. Yeah, our smoothness map we got to create first. So let's go ahead and create this. And then we're going to take a look at it. Okay, that does not look, I mean, what I said earlier is true. I just don't know if it's true for this wood, because like, that's really shiny. Would the poly even get down there? So let's try again. We're going to create our smoothness map, and we're going to do this. Let's try that. Super metallic-y, we'll clear that. Some of those values. or not translating properly. Let's clear that again. Create it. I want way less. It's way too shiny. Okay. Let's try that. And let's take a look at it. Yeah, we can adjust that in Unity, but that's going to work just fine. We have a normal map now. We have a height map. We have some smoothness information, and we can adjust this as we want. Okay? It's not perfect, but it will be. Promise. I'm going to click Save Project here, and we just save it in here. We're going to call this Floor. Wood Floor. The reason why this is beneficial as opposed to Photoshop is it's creating a normal map based on the height map, based on a single diffuse. So this is great for stuff like wood floors. Anytime you need a normal map, we're also going to do this for carpet as well. I'm going to close this out. I'm going to open up this in just drag these into Photoshop now. And I'm going to go to my wood floor. Actually, it's on desktop. Give me just a sec, guys. Okay, so first things first, okay? The wood floor normal map is a BMP bitmap. Good. But I'm not really gonna, I'm just gonna put that here, okay? I'm gonna save this, and we're gonna call this, we're gonna create a new folder, wood floor. I'm gonna bring in that wood floor. I'm gonna save it here, wood floor normal. Good. And then also remember our wood floor here. What we wanna do with this is add in a channel for our smoothness. So this is our smoothness value. There's our smoothness values. I'm going to rasterize this, and I'm just going to paste this on my alpha channel. Okay, this is going to be how our smoothness is interpreted. So all I really need here is a normal map, and then my albedo, which contains the alpha channel for the smoothness. So let's open up in Unity. Okay, I'm going to drag this. Let's make sure we close this. Hey, Jeb, you're okay, buddy. Jebby, wake up, bud. Jebby. Hey, hey. Hey, wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. You okay? It's okay. Okay, so we have our alpha channel for our plaster. We have an alpha channel for our wood as well. So let's go ahead and bring that in, okay? So I've got my wood floor. I'm gonna drag this actually to that folder there. There we go. I've got my normal map, and then I've got my floor, my standard diffuse or my albedo, okay? And I'm gonna go to my wood floor here, to the texture, I'm sorry, the material. I'm gonna drag in that normal map. It's gonna tell me it's broken. I'm gonna click Fix. There we go. I'm also gonna go to the albedo and increase the shininess here. And we definitely need a reflection probe. We definitely need a reflection probe. But let's see here. Is some of that information incorrect? I'm curious what's going on here. I've never seen this before. We're going to figure this out. Yeah, our reflection probe is, I think it's reflected the skybox, which is not what we want. Give me a sec, guys. Hey, Get Exercise, how you doing? Okay, so there's something going on with our smoothness. I believe we need a reflection probe. There we go. So we have gray. I'm going to hit bake, but I doubt that it's going to bake quickly, but we're going to bake it anyway. So it's baking the skybox information, and that reflection probe now, that information, that actually helped us a lot. Okay, that's good. Okay. And our specular is fine. Our normal map, it looks like we might need to invert it, if I'm being honest. Yep, there we go. And the shininess looks good. Let's double check and see what's going on with our wood floors to be sure that our smoothness values are correct. Let's open that up. Let's go to our wood floor here and take a look at our alpha channel. I'm going to crank up the contrast here so that there's clearly certain parts that are shiny and certain parts aren't. So for some reason, we're not seeing that information being interpreted, and I don't know why. Like, for example, watch this. If I go to my alpha channel and just make it black, if I save it, it should just not be shiny anymore. And we're not getting that for some reason. Let's double check something here. We're in RGB, 8-bit. For some reason, the alpha channel is not being picked up properly, and I don't know why. Albedo alpha, we're pulling the albedo alpha from this base map, and we should not be seeing any shine, but for some reason we are. So something's wrong here. Dang. We're going to figure this out, guys. I don't know why, but for some reason that's not working. I've had this happen before with Twisted Tower, and I cannot put a finger on it. This alpha channel, it should be white. It should be black. And if I were to do something like this, I should see the shine only on that part there. But for some reason, it's not happening. I wonder why that's happening. That is so weird. It should be from the alpha channel, and I don't know why. That's wild to me. I've never experienced this. I mean, I have experienced it rarely, and it's something I could never solve. That's wild to me. Why is it doing that? Is it working for this, for the wall? Let's go to the wall here and double check. What on earth? Okay, so I believe it's working for the wall. If I do this, I should see, yep, there it is. So it's working for the wall for some reason. Dang. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this. I'm going to bring this wood floor over here. I'm fine with just merging all this down. I'm going to bring this into this file here. Is it because it's not power of 2? Is that really the reason? That might have been the reason. I'm going to bring this over here, and I'm going to save this as the wood floor. Something to do with the texture. So I'm going to re-import that. Good. There it is. I'm going to go to albedo alpha. Where is my alpha channel here? There it is. And if I crank up the shininess, look at that. It still doesn't work. What the heck? Let's remove the normal map. Now I'm getting frustrated. None. We're going to remove the normal map and we're going to see what's going on here. What? What if I put the plaster on the floor? There it is. You can see it. Look. So that's correct. That is correct behavior. But for some reason, it is not working with the floor. That is so weird. I'm going to save. Here's what we're going to do. That's so weird. Let's go to our plaster and let's double check what's going on with the alpha channel. It's called alpha 1. Good. I'm going to save this as plaster 2. So dumb. And then we're going to go to our wood floor. And I'm going to put plaster 2 on. Put that there, and then I'm going to put plaster 2 on it. There it is. Okay. That works. So, slow and steady. For some reason, we're getting some weird stuff here. I'm going to paste this here. Okay, it works. Isn't that weird? That has got to be the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. My theory is, I think I know what it is. I think it's because there was transparent pixels below this. That's what I think. I think there was like a transparent pixel below it. Because if I do this and save it, it's good. Okay, back to frickin' square one. I'm going to move this here. Delete the old wood floor. Call this wood floor. That was a weird Unity thing. And I think it's because there was a transparent pixel below the actual texture. No, it didn't have to do with the mesh or anything. Wood floor, we're going to add that normal map and see what happens. So far, so good. And then we need to go back into this wood floor texture, and we need to go ahead and bring in that roughness map again. Remember we had that roughness map for our wood floor? Here it is. This roughness map, we got to scale it up by 2. We're going to go ahead and put this into the channel, the alpha channel. There it is. Save it. And now let's double check. Good. Okay. So we're going to invert it. Wait. Oh, Thomas. There we go. Invert it. There we go. That actually feels pretty good. I don't think we need to do anything with it. You know? I mean, I guess we could make it a little bit shinier if we wanted to. Like that. You know? I just feel weird about that. I feel like it needs to be inverted. But it could be wrong. Honestly, it's fine. Let's hit play and just double check how everything feels. Yeah, so we learned something today, didn't we? We learned that if your roughness map for some reason is not working, you need to make sure, there we go, look at that. You need to make sure that, that looks pretty good. There's no transparent pixels in your actual Photoshop document. Good. This looks great. Let's increase the shininess of that plaster. And then obviously fix the issue we created with the plaster as well. I think we drew over top of it like a moron. So let's see here. Yeah. Oh no. And I saved it too. So let's go ahead and bring in that plaster roughness map that we had downloaded. There we go. There we go. There's our roughness. Rasterize it. And you can also do levels if you want. So like we can do this. And it'll just sort of contrast the crap out of it. All right, that's good enough for me. Let's put it into our alpha channel. Save it, and we should be able to adjust this alpha channel properly here, okay? Wait, turn off that layer, save it back. And now, if we crank up the shininess, it's gonna look much better. And I appreciate whoever reminded me to use a reflection probe, because that's really, really important. So for some reason, I'm not seeing any shine. And I think it's because there's basically like no information here. Let's crank it up and see what we can do. Let's try that. Okay, good. So yeah, there's just not a lot of information to use here. We can also increase the level here, like this. Try that and see what happens. Yes, okay, good. That looks great. That's what we needed. Okay, good, good, good. Yep. Okay. And over here as well, how's it look? Brilliant. That's what we needed. Does that make sense so far, guys? Any questions? Any questions so far about how these textures are working? Okay. These are all either from scratch, I took pictures of this from a diner I went to this morning. So this is from a diner. This one is a free asset that we found. And let's go ahead and get the trim working. Okay. We have white trim. I know that we could probably just go ahead and grab the trim I took a picture of today. Let's go ahead and go to this trim here. This trim is going to be used for all of the walls, all these trim pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and just grab that photo I took this morning for that trim. Okay, so I have one here. This is from my floor this morning. I just took a quick picture of it. And I'm just going to grab this and scale it up like this. And I'm going to flip it horizontally so it has a nice tiling. You really don't want it to look that warped. That looks good to me. I'm going to merge that together. And we're just going to put it here for now just to see how it looks. Looks pretty good to me. We're going to reduce the saturation and then colorize it. It looks a bit odd, doesn't it? That it's there's part of me that feels like we need to invert it because it just feels like the light is coming from a weird spot. Yeah, that looks better to me. But we want to make sure it's just not so dark. So we're going to go to our levels here and sort of get rid of all the dark parts. And then reduce the saturation and see if that helps. Yeah, that might be a little bit too much, but yeah, that's good, man. That's what we want. And we want to make sure also that we honestly, what I can do is maybe even bring in the trim again and just grab certain portions that I like so it doesn't look so crunchy and contrasty. There we go. And just try one more time here and just sort of overlay it so we keep some of those details. No. There we go. That's it. That's what I was looking for. I'm going to merge all this together. Whoops. Merge all these together here. There we go. And I'm going to crop it. And by the way, have you guys noticed that this project, this sort of live stream I've been working on these last 2 days, it's taken significant, I don't know what's going on. There we go. Why is that happening? It's taken significantly longer to build this than an exterior scene, right? And that's because interior scenes are particularly hard. They're way more precise. Let's save that, take a look. Good, that's better. All right. Trim looks good. You just got to make sure that you crop this and then transform, flip horizontal. Doing exteriors is significantly easier than this. Good, it tiles perfectly, guys. You see that? Perfect tiling. Let's go ahead and bring this, or do a smart object here. And just bring it down, bring it down, bring it down, and bring it down. And I believe we could squash these, and this should work. There we go. Good. Now, what's happening with the shadows is it's kind of trying to simulate a normal map, but that's not what we want here. Instead, what we want is we want the normal map to do that work. And then we want the diffuse or the albedo to be basically white. So here's why we created that diffuse. We created it so that we can create a normal map out of it. So I could go to, I'm just going to save for web. Save it as 2048 by 2048. I'm going to just put it in white trim. And I'm going to open up Materialize. And then we're going to go ahead and get a normal map out of this. And then a roughness map and everything else, right? So we start with the diffuse. We're going to open up the white trim. Select. Good. Let's go ahead and create a height map out of it. That looks about right. That does look right. Well, yeah, kind of. It's fine. It's never going to be perfect because we're not using actual 3D modeling to bake in the normals. Let's go ahead and create a normal map. Looks good to me. Metallic, go ahead and create that. I really don't think we need any metallic. So I'm going to just get rid of it. But the problem is I feel like you need metallic for smoothness for some reason. Let's get rid of metallic and just see what happens. And then if I create smoothness, I should be able to, yep, I can generate smoothness. That's fine. And we should be able to look at it. Yes. So there is our, look at that. Isn't that crazy, guys? It really did a good job mimicking the molding in my own house. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. I'll just save it in a new folder. I'm going to call this white trim. Confirm, call it white trim. And all these files we should be able to just go ahead and bring into Photoshop. Now again, guys, you could go ahead and find all of these PBR materials on free websites, or you could buy them, or you could take pictures of your own home and just use those, which is what we're doing here. Okay, so we've got our trim. That looks good. I'm going to go ahead and bring in those new files. We've got the white trim. It didn't save for some reason. Desktop. Oh, it saved it right on my desktop. Did it? Oh, yeah, there it is. I found it. I'm going to bring it into Photoshop here. I'm just going to bring in that normal map. So there's our white trim normal. I'm just going to save this as a PSD. I'm going to call this trim normal in the folder trim. We're going to call this white trim. We're going to call this trim normal. There we go. And I like the height map. We're going to keep that. I want that. I'm going to save that as the height map. The height map is going to do wonders for us, I think. White trim height map. And then also the standard diffuse here for the trim is here. What we're going to do is we're going to go to our channel, create a new alpha channel. And where is our, there it is. There's our smoothness map. I'm going to rasterize that, put it in a new alpha channel like that. Delete this. And we've got all the files we need. Now I'm going to close this because I'm going to need to move that. I want to move it into a new folder here. So there's our trim. I'm going to bring it in there. So I have my trim height, my trim normal. For some reason, the normal did save properly. Let's go ahead and open up our normal map. There it is. Trim normal. I'm going to make sure I bring that in properly here. There we go. Delete all the files underneath it. Save it. There's our normal map. So now, guys, let's go ahead and go to our trim. And let's bring in our base map. Let's bring in our normal map. Fix it. And we also have our height, right? We could do that there. And you can specify how big you want it, right? If I go and move it, go to here and do that, you could simulate height. So as the camera moves, you'll get height changes. I don't love that. I don't really think it's necessary. By the way, you know, what we could do, my theory is what we could do with the trim now is we go to our trim here. Where is it? And I could just get rid of the actual albedo data, save it, and now all we're going to see is the normal map information, which is what we want, right? Now I could probably have a little bit of texture there, but what the normal map information is doing is basically saying, hey, a light is coming from here, so it's going to cast shadows, right? So let's go ahead and go to our trim. There's our trim. I'm just going to call this trim, white trim. We also want this to be the same sort of white color as our plaster, which is, let's see here. Here's our color scheme. It's this right here. Yeah, there we go. We need to copy that over here to this. There we go. If we set our normal map to like 3, you can see what it's doing, right? It's trying to simulate. Maybe we need to do -1 or -2. That actually looks better. That feels like it's simulating it properly, right? And then there's our height map as well. But yeah, the smoothness map, if we crank it up like this, you can see here, we're getting some really cool, interesting information because of the smoothness and the normal map, right? That is great. We crank it up, make it look really shiny. And I think overall, the trim looks pretty freaking good, right? I think the normal's a little too intense. And the top of the normal's bothering me. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, and I think it's right here that's bugging me. What you can do is you can grab the general sort of normal color and blur it and fade it. So we're not getting such intensity there. And just do that. That way we're not getting some really crazy shades. There we go. And then let's go back to our albedo and just have a little bit of information there. There we go. So far, so good. We can even add a little bit of grunge texture to it. Remember that plaster? I can take this plaster and I can actually put that on top of the trim so that it just has grunge, right? I could crank up the contrast here. There we go. Like that. And I could do like an overlay or a multiply, drop it down like this and save it. And you can see like why we might want to do that. So let's see here. Yep. And I notice that there might be some metallic in there. No, there's no metallic. I don't think. Let's see here. Is there any metallic? No, there's no metallic. It's just probably too shiny or not shiny enough. There we go. Sweet. Probably a little bit too shiny, honestly. There we go, guys. All right. Good enough for me, honestly. Is there any other things we need to do? Yes. Let's go back to our door, revisit our door. Jordy, if you want to include this portion in the supercut, I'm talking to my editor, by the way. You can cut it if you want. Or if you're going to include it, go ahead and put it back to where I was doing the door texture, because that might get confusing for the supercut. Guys, same thing here. Okay, I'm going to export this. Does this make sense how we're doing this? Export it as a JPEG. I'm going to create a new folder. We're going to call this door. I'm going to save it as a JPEG and then bring that into Materialize, right? Let's go ahead and start a new one. Actually, we're going to clear all. Good. Again, start with the diffuse, go to our door, click select, create a height map. Looks good to me. Create a normal map. Looks good to me. Create a metallic map. Yes, there's no metallic. Create a smoothness map. I feel like that needs to be inverted. No, that's good. Good. We don't need anything else. Show full material. I think it's good enough. It's definitely not perfect. But that's great, man. That's good enough. We could tweak a lot of these files of these images in Photoshop. Let's save the project. Temporary door. We're gonna call this door here and just save it. Those files are all saved. Now what I can do is go ahead and start bringing these files into Photoshop and tweaking them and editing them. So let's go to our files that were just exported. All right, we've got our normal map here. Good enough for me, man. I feel like it needs to be inverted. I feel like all of these need to be inverted. But let's go ahead and just save this as our door folder and then go to door normal. Good. And I just don't like that. That doesn't look right. But that's our normal for our door. And then also remember we have a height map I'm not going to use because there's a better way to do height maps. I'll show you in a sec. The smoothness map, yeah, we want to use that as well. So let's rasterize this. And let's go ahead and open up the door again. There it is. And again, we're going to go to our channels here and save this. And I'm going to crank up the contrast. Yeah, just like that. Save it. If we go here to our door, let's make sure we close out this file so that we can move it here. I'm going to put it into there. So now we have all three files. Normal for the door. Well, yeah, we do. We have the albedo, we have the normal map, and then we're also going to have shine or smoothness information in the alpha channel of this. So again, if we go to our door here, we just drag in the normal map, click Fix Now. I'm going to set this to 5 and see how it looks. It actually looks pretty good. So the normal map is pretty good. We're going to set it to 2. And I'll show you guys how to do the height map. I think it'll potentially blow your mind how we can make this door look 3D, but we'll do that in a sec. Then we'll also go to the albedo alpha and crank up the shine here. And so now the door looks more realistic. Looks like it was painted. Isn't that cool? Let's enter play mode and just sort of zoom in to various elements. Sweet. That's my door, guys. That's the door from my house. Isn't that cool? Looks good. Very dark. Sweet. I love the little specks of shine that I'm seeing there. That's what we want. Awesome. Good. Floor looks fine. The normals look a little strange at certain points, but it's okay. Hey, let's do the trim for the wood. I kind of feel like we can get away with using that white trim for the doors. I'm not sure though, but we'll double check. That's called our door trim. Yeah, so what we're going to need to do here, this one's a little bit different. So what we're going to do is go to our trim here, and I'm going to grab the trim, copy it, paste it, and we're going to basically bring that piece all the way down. All right, so there's our door trim. It's white now. But remember, we want to have the normal map information and the shine information as well. So again, if I'm going to go to my door trim here, or my trim normal map here, I'm just going to grab a portion of it, this right here, and I'm going to sort of match it up to the trim that I just pasted here. Something like that. Yep. And I'm going to save this as door trim normal. There we go. Door trim. Oh yeah, we also want the alpha channel from the. Where's the alpha channel from the trim? For some reason, there's not an alpha channel in our trim. That's a huge problem. Let's fix that. Contrast. I'm just gonna do it this way. That's crazy that we don't have the smoothness alpha channel here. I'm gonna just grab that, copy it, and I can just use that as an alpha channel for the shine. And you guys will notice that it'll probably look pretty good here. Let's double check. Let's go to our trim here, double check what's going on. Okay. Albedo alpha. There we go. That was so weird. I didn't know that information wasn't there. Crank up the brightness here. Double check. So for some reason, it's not working again. The whole thing is shiny and it shouldn't be, because if I set this to black, let's see. Dang. That's a different file. That's why. That's called... No, that's the right one. Yeah, for some reason it's still going and we got to figure out why. We're not seeing the alpha channel updating this. That looks good, actually. Yeah, that was pretty good, doesn't it, guys? Let's figure out what's going on, though. This is so frustrating. Okay, there's our layers. No? Isn't that crazy? For some reason, with this one as well, we're not getting alpha information for our shine. That's crazy. I'm not going to worry about it, though. We don't have time. Okay, let's move forward. All right, so there's our trim, right? Let's go ahead and just drag in the normal map for the trim normal, or the door trim normal. There it is. Okay, good. So that's ready to roll. So let's just go to door normal here. Or I'm sorry, door trim normal. Where is it? There it is right there. And we're going to do this, fix now. We're going to set it to like 4. And now we have door trim, and we're going to crank up the shininess so it matches that. See that? That's about it, man. We're going to do -3. I'm sorry. Where is it? Yeah. We're going to do -3 here. -1, -2 maybe. There we go. All right, let's enter play mode here. I don't know why, guys. I'm not going to worry about it. I don't know why I could not get the smoothness map to correctly correlate with our trim values. But whatever. Looks good. Good. What do you think, guys? How's it looking so far? No, that one didn't have empty pixels for some reason, and it still was causing a problem. So I have no idea. All right, you all ready to do the windows? We are going to do windows a little bit differently here, okay? The way we're going to do this is we're going to find like an iron bar, just a simple PNG iron bar, and then we're going to sort of plaster that all over this, and that should be good enough for our window. And after this, guys, we can begin set dressing, okay? Because that's about all we need. I mean, honestly, we could probably crank up the brightness of these lights because it's like really hard to see right now. Really hard to see in this scene. We should probably just bring in a few more point lights here, like one here as well. Maybe increase the brightness of it, or the size of it. And then maybe one right there as well. We're just going to do this just for this video here. But yeah, let's do the windows really quick. I just want to hit play one more time, feel this out. And you know, what's really great about this is I want you guys to be like, oh, so this is how they make horror games, right? This is how they make things look realistic with a low amount of polys. That's a little too blue, if I'm being honest. But yeah, pretty good, man. Oh, I have a carpet texture as well I want to create. No, there's no baked lighting in this scene. It's so small. Okay. Moving forward, this light right here, way too saturated. You want to be really careful, guys. Nightlight is honestly like white. And by the way, this is important to note. If you're making a horror game that isn't very that is kind of grounded in reality and you want it to feel really scary, and it's not like BioShock or something, being realistic makes a lot of sense because everything's so much scarier when it feels grounded in reality. So let's go ahead and make these iron bars for the windows. The goal is going to be to just have it a simple texture, but it feels like it's not a texture. So we'll see if we could do it. I have my doubts for sure. First thing I want to do is I just want to basically have this better work. I need I need the glass to be very shiny, and I need the iron bars to basically be not shiny. If I can't get this to work, I'll be pissed because I've been doing this for 3 years with the alpha channel. So we'll see, man. Here we go. Look at that. I can't even do it, and that's because it's set to transparent. This might be a problem. Crank up smoothness. Like I can't set it to... Okay, we're gonna need 2 separate materials because I feel like we've got an issue here, honestly. I'm gonna do this. We've got something going on. I don't know what it is, but we're just gonna move forward and pretend it didn't even happen. There's glass, and then there's gonna be bars. Okay, there's our bars and there's our glass. The bars are gonna be in front. Like this. We're gonna do this for now. And this may actually make it look more 3D anyway. Okay, so there is our bars. I'm going to bring in the texture from... Why do we have 2 things called bars? What the heck? Oh, it's because it's... Duh, Thomas. It's 2-sided, that's why. We're going to go to our glass here, grab that material, put it on the bars. This is going to be called window bars. And this may actually be good because we can make it look 3D. Bars, good. Window bars, there we go. And then there's that one, which is, oh, and it's a cube. It's not a quad. I forgot that I didn't do a quad. I did a cube. Why did I do a cube? Yeah, okay, well, good. What we can do is then just have one here and do that. There we go. So we have this bars cube, and then we have the glass underneath it. So that should do. Okay. Good. I'm trying to figure out what I'm looking at here. Oh, that's the glass. Okay, so we're going to go to window, set that to window. This is just going to be white. And we'll put some specular on it. But you notice we're getting some weird issues with the position of it. So let's try and figure out what's going on. Let's set this to opaque, alpha clipping, so it cuts out. Yay. Okay, and it even drops shadows, which is great. Yay. Is it actually dropping shadows? Yeah, it is. Cool. It's casting shadows, which actually helps a lot. I'm going to go ahead and just hit apply all to this. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to call this walls with windows textured. Just for the purposes of this tutorial so I can knock this out pretty quick. I'm going to put that here. That way I could swap all of these out with this one here, right? Replace with overrides. Let's do that. There we go. Okie dokie. Now, here's what we need to do. We need a texture for our window, for glass. So what I'm going to do, this is going to be interesting. What I'm going to do is just take the plaster, and I've talked about this before in previous live streams. I will oftentimes just take textures and reapply them on other stuff. So for example, this window here, it could be this sort of gross, dirty window, right? Like that. I could save that as my window. And then I can also grab certain portions of this like that and make it so that the window, please God, I hope that the smoothness map works. I can make it so that this window has certain parts of it that are specular. We're going to try it. That was the wrong one. Thomas, you got to be careful, buddy. Go back in time here. Save it. And then we're going to go to File, Save As. And we're going to go to Window, Glass. Save that there. Forward in time. There we go. So this is our window glass now. We can use this for our glass. So there's our bars. We're going to work on this. I promise we're going to make those look good. And this is our glass. Which is right here. Set it to opaque. And we're going to use albedo alpha, please God. Thank you. Okay, it works. All right, and we're going to go to, we're going to set it to transparent. And my hope is, this is tough. We're going to do a normal map, but we're not going to do a smoothness map for this. In fact, what we can do is we can actually create a smoothness map from the metallic map. I'm not going to worry about that. We're just going to do a normal map, okay? A warped kind of normal map. Instead of worrying about the smoothness map because it's causing issues. That's good. There's our glass. Drop down the opacity like this. Put it transparent. And then drop down the opacity. Why can't I see through you, buddy boy? That's the trim. That's why. Sorry, my brain. I don't know why it selected the trim. Set it transparent. There we go. There's our glass. Good. We're going to change the color a little bit. More blue here. Good. Can I see the skybox? There it is. There's our glass. Honestly, I don't think we need to do much more for the glass. I think it's fine. Let's hit play. We're not using fab because I want to use a variety of different sources here. We need to reposition that. For some reason they got moved. I want to use a variety of different sources here. And because I want to show you guys how you can, because a lot of times what happens is developers don't know how to, create their own custom assets. Okay. By the way, if you're just joining us, remember you can join Full-Time Game Dev below and get 50% off for the new year. It's my massive course. It could teach you not only how to get publishers to buy your demo, which I've done multiple times, but it's also going to teach you how to hit the Steam front page, do Kickstarter crowdfunding, and how to actually make a game, whether it's Unity, Unreal, or Godot. You're also going to get my 2D art program and my 3D art program completely free. So be sure to check it out below. Check out the reviews on the website. See if it's something you're interested in. Let's see if we can find an iron bar. In our assets here. Iron gate. That might work. I'm going to use that. Let's screenshot that bad boy. That's what we want. That's all I really need for this window. Okay, something like this. I just need something that's rusty and has sort of a round look to it. Okay. And we're going to use that the very simple texture to create iron bars. That's it, guys. That's all we're doing here. We just do this. There we go. And I do want some on the edges here. I'm going to save that, just double check something here. Okay, good. And once we get a normal map going for it and also a specular, it's going to look great. All right, let's see what happens here. Let's take all these iron bars and rotate them. And then rotate again. I'm going to see how this looks. That's going to look great. Okay. Let's just add a bunch of drop shadows to various portions of it. Scale her up. That's it. There we go. We're missing one from here. Just going to duplicate that one. One there as well. And just bring these guys up. Save it. Now I'm going to delete the thing below it. Save that, and we're going to get some normal map information. And hopefully we can get this working. I'm starting to have doubts. But we're going to trust the process. Okay? I just think those iron bars are a little too thick. Let's try and thin them out. That's probably better, isn't it, guys? Yeah, that's better. Okay. Perfect. The ones that are below need to be darker. There we go. Save it. Yep. And overall, thicken that one up. Thicken that one up. There we go. So far, so good. Save that out. We're going to grab some normal map information for this. And so what we're going to do here is we actually just save a version that's white. Export it. We're going to save it. We're going to bring this in and materialize. So we're going to call this window frame or window bars. We're going to save that into window bars, open up materialize here, clear all of our texture maps, open up the diffuse map here. Let's see here. Where did it go? Should be on my desktop temp. It's not saved for some reason. Oh, there it is. Good. Open that up. And now let's just go ahead and generate our height map. Good. We actually can use that. That one's going to be very valuable, actually. Normal map. Feel like that is the wrong direction. So we'll probably need to invert that in Unity, because I'm not quite sure how to invert it in Materialize. Yeah, I'm not sure how to do it in Materialize. I'm sure there's a way, but we'll go ahead and just invert it in Unity. That should work. Metallic map. I don't really need that. Smoothness map, we're going to do it a different way. So So yeah, what we're gonna have, it looks like that with the height map and the normal map, but I can invert these in Photoshop. So as long as I have the normal map information and I can invert it, we're good. So that's good. Save that in our window bars folder. We're gonna call it window bars. Save it. And this is the last texture we're gonna do before we move into asset flipping or using assets. Okay, let's go to Unity here. That's called materialize. Well, let's go to Photoshop here. And if you guys could hear my kids screaming, that's because they're right behind me playing in their room. Okay, save that window. This is good. I'm going to go ahead and just merge all this together because I don't want a massive file size. I'm going to crop this. And then that's all we're going to do for our window. But now what I can do is I can bring in our window bars here. There's our window bars normal map. I'm going to save this as window bars normal. And then if we go to our, the height map, I loved the height map. We can use that. That's going to be our height map. Window bars height.psd. And then that's about all we need. We'll take a look at the smoothness map in a sec, but I think overall this is fine for us. Okay, so we got our normal map, we got our height map. Let's bring those in. I'm going to create a new folder here. I'm going to call this window bars. I'm going to close out all those files so I can move them in Unity. Okay. This is window bars. Then we have window bars height and normal. Drag all those into window bars here. There we go. Now it's nice and cleanly in its own folder. There's window bars. Drag in all of our various elements here. The normal map. We're going to fix it. And then we're going to go ahead and also bring in the height map and see if that's something we can... the height map, I don't actually think is going to do anything for us because it doesn't even matter. I mean, I guess if we blurred it, if we went to our height map, there it is. If I blur it significantly, we might get some advantage out of it because some of that white information is going to go onto the transparent portion of the albedo, and it's going to look like it's sort of elevating itself. So we'll see if that actually does anything for us. I doubt it, but we'll see. Now, obviously, guys, we could do a 3-dimensional version of this, which it's probably what I would end up doing, honestly, because this hasn't been, it doesn't look great, if I'm being honest. What just happened? Why did that happen? What? That's wild. Why is it doing that? Whoa. Where did it go? That is insanely weird what just happened. I have no idea. Okay. The height map, we're going to try and see if that does anything for us. I doubt it. But we'll throw the height map on and you can see it'll create kind of a cylindrical look. But I don't know if it's very advantageous to us. Yeah. If we really wanted to, we could do 2 of them. A layer of 2, and you might get like a cool 3-dimensional look to it, which I may actually do. I really, I don't mind that. We can do bars darker, or this is dark 3D. And we can actually take this material here, and duplicate it, go window bars dark. And what you'll see here, this may actually work. You could darken it, and now it looks 3D. With stuff like this, it's like, do I really need 3-dimensional bars, or can I just get away with doing that? And I think we can get away with doing that. I actually really like that. We don't need any specular on this. the window bars. I'm going to remove any metallic or specular. That's fine the way it is. And I think ultimately we have some pretty good looking bars. I'm going to apply this here. The bars we could probably move closer to the glass. Where's the glass at? We're about to start moving into our assets, guys. But yeah, the bars are, we could definitely move those closer to the glass like that. And the other side works and that side works. Good. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. I think we need to go ahead and make sure the alpha clipping is a little bit more. This right here needs to be a little bit clipped more. And then we need to go to this texture here and remove the white from the matte. So now it's perfect. There we go. Save it. Woo! Yeah. Yeah. I kind of want it to be two-sided. I want to see the other side as well. But overall, I think that's fine, man. And like I said at the beginning of this live stream, or yesterday's live stream, what we want to be doing is we want to be approaching this the way that an indie would, which is getting it done quick, and trying to mimic what a AAA game is doing. Where are my window bars? They're a little too dark. Also, the specular on that glass is really intense. There we go. If we put on that plaster normal, I think you guys might find this interesting. That plaster normal, if we put it onto the glass, we may actually see some advantage. And what you could do is set the tiling to like 0.1, maybe 0.01, or maybe 0.02, 0.02, and then just drop it down to like 0.2, and then that may be worth it. Let's see here. I don't hate that. It's a little much, though. Okay. Yeah, I would say that because this is so obviously a PNG, what we're going to do is we're going to go pretty dark with it. Like that. Brilliant. Yeah, that does what I need it to do. Yeah, I don't hate it. Okay. Now that we've got that looking good, we've got windows. We've got the frame. We can go ahead and start throwing in assets, okay? So let me fix that really quick because that's driving me crazy. I don't know how that happened. Okay, that one's fixed. Save it. We're going to start with ceiling lights, okay? And I have all the assets I need in my asset bin, okay? So we're going to start with let's actually start with the coffee table. These assets I'm going to put as links in the descriptions for the final video. But for this live stream, they're not there yet. But these will be there in a link in the description. But during this live stream, they're not there yet. Okay, so the way I like to handle assets is I want them to be, the bare minimum, I want the textures to be PSDs, okay? And we're going to create prefabs out of all of these. And we're going to make sure they're sized properly. And that way we can use them over and over and over again in our game. So this is our table. If I select the mesh, it'll tell me where my textures are. There's the texture. We're going to go to material table 50. There it is. Drag it on there. Is that really our table? Is that really it? That can't be it. Let's go to our prefabs. Okay. Because I feel like that table is the wrong one. Okay, apparently we have a table that I really like, but it's this disgusting marble. And I want an old wooden table. So let's sort through some of our other tables. And these are all free, by the way, so they're not going to look great. And our job is to figure out how to make them look great, okay? That's the whole point of this live stream, is to figure out how to use what we can. So I'm going to use this, but we're going to make it look like wood cuz I hate that. That does not match the environment at all. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to save this as a PSD. We'll call this wood. All right. So there's our wood texture here. I'm going to drag that into our material. The normal map will drag on there as well. We can actually make that look like wood. Okay, so that's not bad. So let's go ahead and make it look like wood and match. Well, let's take a look at Resident Evil. Let's see what we got. Yeah, I think we'll just match the wood. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna think, okay, how would a table be made? Like this kind of table. Well, it'd probably be a slab of wood. I think I have a texture for that. I actually took a picture this morning of just wood. There we go. So if I put that there on these portions, what I could do is simply cut the wood out here and here. So we're just going to have this wooden slab on these portions here, like this. And again, this is the benefit of using Photoshop. All right, let's take a look. All right, we're getting there. So we're going to do much smaller pieces. So we'll do like this. And because I don't want it to look like it's made out of little pieces of wood, like planks, I'm going to try and do something like that. Try that. Yeah, there we go. Not bad. Not bad. Then we just match the color. And then we're going to make the legs, that gold is actually okay with me. But we want it to be like, actually look like gold. So we're going to use the metallic map available to us, which is that. Yep, there we go. That's fine. Yeah, but we're just going to make it more of an orange gold because that looks like crap. Okay. And let's match the hardwood color as well. Remember we had our color palette? This right here. We're going to go to our table, merge all these together. Actually, no. Yeah. We're going to take these, merge them, delete that portion here. Just bring it up here. So the underside of it looks like that as well. Then we're going to grab in the color scheme, which is this one here. This color, again, we're going to match all of our woods. The reason you have that color palette is because you want to be able to matchy everything to that color palette. Try that. See how it looks in the game? Pretty good, man. I don't hate it. Good enough for me. We'll create some really cool, I don't know. Maybe we'll do some specular information there, but I don't know. And the gold looks just awful. So we're going to make that more of a red gold. Yeah. That works for me, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and add this to my folder of prefabs. Art, textures, we're going to call this prefabs. And I can just drag this into my art folder right here. So this coffee table can now be used all over the place. And it matches the scene. Let's hit play and take a look. We'll go over, take a look at it, see what we got. We can also throw in some rugs. It's pretty good. Oh, look at that. I actually really like that specular. That works for me, man. Awesome. Wooden table with gold legs. Looks pretty dang good for free asset. Make it a little darker. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Coffee table, working for me. What else we got? Oh, we had a sofa here. Let's take a look at this one. So here's our sofa. It's called Sofa 13, but we're going to go to the prefabs in the asset folder. And I will admit to you guys right now that I would, if I had time, I would be doing this in a much cleaner job. I wouldn't have all these assets sitting around. After this live stream, if I was going to finish this game, I would delete all of these assets and have everything perfectly placed in nice, clean folders. Okay. So here's Sofa 13. Okay. That doesn't look like the same one. Double check. This is Sofa 15. That matches our environment. It doesn't look good though. It doesn't look like it really works. So we're going to have to go in and do some tweaks to this. Things are really clean, right? So for example, that table, we're probably going to need to add some grunge to it. Okay. Let's flip this to -90 or -180. It looks a little big. So we're going to enter play mode. And we're going to take a look and see how big it is compared to our first person character controller. Okay, so let's move our character controller. For some reason, I can't grab my character controller. There he is. And we're going to move him here. And all we're going to do is we're going to just enter play mode and say, okay, does this feel right? You know, does that feel right to you guys? No. It's huge. Right? So we're going to shrink it. We're going to shrink it down. I think 0.8 is a good option for us. Let's enter play mode, take a look. Good. Yeah, I think that's good enough. I think we could probably go a little bit bigger. So 0.83, 0.83, 0.83. That's good enough for me, man. Let's go ahead and throw in a pop of color for this one, okay? So I'm going to make a PSD out of our albedo. And maybe even add some like grunge to it or like tears or something. But let's go ahead and match it to our color scheme. This red, right? And if we take a look at this right here, we're going to try and recreate this feel here. A shiny leather. Okay. So let's just grab that. And we're going to go to our chair, our sofa. All I want to do is fill in that red color there. And all we're going to do here is match it to that color. This is going to be tough. But I think we can do it. And I do kind of want to keep these tones in here. We're going to try that. We're going to save this as red. Go here, bring it in, man. Do you see why I didn't do a colorize? Because I kind of want to see these ugly seams. And a colorize would kind of remove a lot of this. The smoothness, I don't really love. I kind of want to have control over that because it just doesn't look right. But let's go ahead and make this look a little bit more red. Good. And it's also the normal map that's causing issues here. I guess I like the normal. What you can do with the normal map, if you feel like it's just way too, if it like that material to me looks like a fabric and not leather. So what we could do is actually blur it, and we may be able to accomplish that leather feel. We're gonna save this as. Actually, we could just save it that way. That's fine. If we crank up the smoothness, I'm gonna destroy that metallic and see if we can crank up the smoothness here. There we go. Yeah. That's kind of the leather chair we want. But you'll notice that it's just way too smooth, so we need to go in and adjust the alpha channel so that it has a grime to it, right? What is this metallic map even? I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to see what happens when I add it to the alpha channel. I just want to see those pops of white coming through. And honestly, that does make sense, actually. You're going to get the hardcore shines are going to be where the buttons are, because a lot of the shine has not worn off. Like if I save this here, and I'm going to go to albedo alpha, I should see a bunch of shines in the buttons. There they are. Good. And along the edges, that doesn't make sense though. Along the edges, that doesn't make sense. But yeah, where the buttons are, you want to see the shines. Guys, this is an extreme version of the logic, which is the shine on the leather is going to slowly wear off the more we sit on that chair. And so naturally, the shine will remain where the buttons are pinned, because nobody's going in there rubbing their finger, getting rid of the shine every day. So this makes sense, but what we want to do is we want to go to our curves and just overall bring the brightness up. We could probably do something like this even. There we go. Yeah. And so we're going to get a lot of bits and pops of shine. There we go. It's starting to work. It's starting to work. There we go. Yeah. We'll turn off the metallic map. Yeah, because we don't really need the metallic map. I'm going to increase the albedo a little bit. Although we are in a very dark spot. So yeah, maybe the albedo is a little strong actually. There we go. Yeah, the albedo is actually very strong. That's why it's good to look at it in different light sources. Yeah, that's disgusting. Oh, I love that. Oh, looking good. Okay, so the problem is just it's so red on those corners. So what we're going to do here is do a colorization like this and just reduce the opacity a little bit. And that should, yeah, that feels much more realistic. Something's wrong here, and I don't know what it is. I think it's because those are stretched. It's just the way that the asset turned out. Yeah. Let's go back to the alpha channel. and see if we can create a little bit more contrast here. Good enough for me, y'all. All right, we're gonna, whoops. We're gonna go ahead and apply this all. And we're gonna create a new prefab, actually. Yeah. We're gonna move that here. We're gonna call this just sofa. And inside it's gonna be sofa model. Nice and clean. Just bring that in there to my prefabs that I'm gonna use in my game. The normal map. Yes. More normal map, please. More normal map, please. Let's see if we can fix that. There we go. Oh, yeah. That's disgusting. I love that. Okay, good. All right, so we're going to move that guy into the shadows here. Maybe do another one over on this side. And why is my model at a weird Z position? There we go. Put one here. And one over here. And set dressing is more than just placing furniture logically. Sometimes it's trying to be creepy, you know? And then just flipping stuff over, you know? Just saying, you know what? Make it look disheveled. All right, let's hit play and take a look. Yeah, we'll decrease the shine here. Looks like it's just covered in chocolate, you know? Delicious. Maybe we could brighten it up a little bit. Where'd Photoshop go? Here it is. Here it is. There we go. We're going to reduce the smoothness just a tad. There we go. All right. That looks good, man. I'm happy with it. I'm totally happy with that. Sofa, table. What other assets do we got, guys? Carpets. Big fat carpets. This one's long, so it's going to be used for our halls. But again, we're going to want to match these to our scene, okay? One of the reasons why the Resident Evil Requiem trailer looks so good is because the colors are very matchy-matchy, right? It's all part of a nice little theme. I'm going to go ahead and add this rug. Call it rug long. Just add it to our prefabs. And the texture, we're going to save it as a PSD. We'll call it just PSD is fine. And again, we want to just match the colors, okay? The red is cool, but I kind of feel like I want to do blue. Let's try blue. Okay. Let's go to our rug. There it is. And I'm just going to go to my hue, saturation, shift. I'm going to grab the reds. Do that. Then I'm going to go ahead and do a hue shift towards the blue with a colorization. And just reduce that opacity a little bit. I'm going to do a hue, saturation, shift underneath. There we go. There we go. That's what we want. Okay. All right, so there's our rug. Let's just swap it out. Brilliant. It's a little too blue, so we're just going to do a hue saturation shift entirely to the green direction. Brilliant. I actually like those tassels. Sweet. Let's take a look. Actually, it looks really good. Y'all, this is so matchy-matchy. That gold is bothering me. Let's go to the table. I'm going to kill the gold. I'm going to make it silver. Yes. Very good, Tom. Thank you. So far, so good. Okay. What's next? What else we got? Well, a table lamp. Put a table lamp here. And this would be the light source for this room. We're going to go to Universal Render Pipeline, lit, just change out all these materials. In fact, select material. I'm going to grab all of these and just make sure they're all Universal Render Pipeline. There we go. And notice again, guys, it doesn't work, right? It's just not working for us, but that's okay. We go in and tweak various elements so it works. We got the shade outer material. Needs to have that cloth. Okay. I actually wonder if we can adjust this without going into Photoshop. You know? Well, we really want to adjust the where is it? That metal material. I really want to have some this right here, some kind of just ugly texturing. I'm just gonna grab this from the sofa, and I'm gonna go to my glossy metal. And if I go to the alpha channel, I could just create some really ugly adjustments here. I'm gonna just try this out and see if it even works. I'm gonna save this as a PSD. I just want that metal to be a little bit more rusty looking. And so we don't want the whole thing to have a clean gloss. We want it to be, oh, son of a F. It's so weird how sometimes it just doesn't work. I wonder what, it's like, maybe Unity? It's gotta be Unity, right? Let's blame the engine. That's the body material. Got it. Okay. Which is brushed metal. There we go. Okay, so we really need to be putting it in the brushed metal. There we go. Save this as a PSD, y'all. Okay, it works. Good, okay. So the brushed metal is going to have this sort of gross, some of it's shiny, some of it's not. And we're going to make it look a little better than that. Let's go to our hardwoods and see if we can grab some texturing from that. That's so weird. The wrong one. I'm going to grab the hardwoods here and see if I can grab something from the alpha channel and just use it on our brushed metal here. I just need some kind of grunge texture, and I don't want to go have to find one. Right? Let's try that, see how it looks. There we go. I just need a little bit of a grunge. All right, let's add a little emissive here. Some of you are probably thinking, Thomas, That's not good enough? Oh, it's good enough. It's good enough. We're going to make this glowing, a warm yellow. There we go. And the inner shade, same thing, glowing a warm yellow. And then we also need a light on it. So we're going to move this light down here, and this is actually going to make it look creepier. Now, you guys may be thinking, Thomas, put the light inside of the prefab. And I've always, I don't like to do that anymore. I like to have full control over my cinematic lighting. We might need 2 lights here. Yeah, one there and then one up here. Okay, tell you what, I'll concede here. That light, this right here, we're gonna make this not cast shadows. And I'm gonna put that one inside of our lamp. And I'm gonna make the range smaller, okay, with an intensity of 5. I'm gonna apply this, I'm gonna call this table lamp. I'm gonna move it over here. So there's our table lamp, right? But then we could take that warm light, that warm point light, and put another one right here and move it up right here. Just to sort of create some global illumination kind of thing. This one's super bright though. There we go. You know what? I got it. This shade, I don't want the shade to cast shadows. All right. So we're going to say no shadows, baby. No shadows. There we go. That's much better. Okay, so we're actually going to delete this light here. No, we'll keep that light. And we'll do this. There we go. Cast shadows, baby. Oh, yeah. That way we don't get weird shadows coming from that lamp. All right, let's hit play and just feel it, see how it feels in game. Okay, for some reason we're not getting post-processing, and so I'll double check on the camera and see what's going on. But that's spooky. That is really spooky. I love that. Okay, so let's figure out why this camera here is not using post-processing. We'll turn it on and then see. Hey, Ender's Edge, how you doing, bud? Okay, good. Yay, post-processing is on, but that top rim is super bright, so we're going to remove that. That's the inner. So let's get rid of our gizmos. What the F? Hold on. That one down there. For some reason, oh, it's this one. No. What's going on the inside there? Is it the light? It is the light. Okay. There we go. Like that. Good, Thomas. Thank you. I do like it. I appreciate that. All right. I'm going to enter play mode here one more time. It's looking good. Freaking love it. All free assets, baby. And a lot of this is from my own home. Well, the floor. The floor and the door, which I'm proud of, okay? So just whatever. I love that rug. Looks great. Hey, we need another rug. Let's do a red rug. Red rug. Red rug. No. What about this one? Yep, that's the one we need. 0, 0, 0. Good. And this one will just sort of fill up this whole room here. Don't be afraid to just warp things a little bit, and especially in a horror game. I want this to... A lot of you are probably thinking, that's fine. It matches. It doesn't. Don't trust your eye, okay? Trust your color palette. I'm going to show you why it doesn't. Let me save this. PSD. We want to match it to our color scheme. Remember, we have a color palette, guys? I'm going to do this until the day I die. This is our color palette. We do not break the rules. We stick to our color palette. But Hagrid, there isn't a platform 9 3/4, is there? Move that up and then go that way. And then we're also going to do a colorization. Opacity, drop it down, and that should match. Save it. And then boom. That specular is driving me crazy. Okay, we're going to try that one more time. We kind of lost the, it feels washed out. We're going to try it one more time. I'm going to do contrast first. Oh my goodness, so much better. I'm having crazy deja vu right now. Whoa. Okay, that looks good. And then we're going to, whoa, go away. Reduce the yellows. It won't go away. What is, have I been here before? The reds. Okay, we're almost there. Yep, there we go. It's matching. It's starting to match. I had to eyeball this one. The reds, we want to go a little bit more burgundy and dark. There we go. Matchy, matchy. I freaking told you guys. All right. That is so good. Everything's starting to match, y'all. Okay. And whenever you see stuff like this, you go, okay, I'll just put, if this doesn't match the environment, it needs more set dressing. So you just put curtains over that or something. All right, spooky. I like it. Let's make a prefab out of it. And by the way, we haven't even added like wainscoting. So we'll add some wainscoting here. Let's apply this though. This is gonna be rug big. And guys, there's only so much we can do here, so you know, I don't know if I'm gonna set dress the entire scene. This is why, guys, someone asked me in a comment, they were like, how did you spend over 500 grand, more than 500 grand on Twisted Tower? And I'm like, it's an interior game. That's why. It's just interior. Interiors are brutal. I don't love that this is driving me crazy. So let's go to our albedo alpha, and I'm going to just throw in some kind of texture here so that we're just getting scrapes and stuff along the surface. It's just driving me crazy. I need some kind of texture there. There we go. I just need some kind of texture. Interiors are way harder than exterior games. Way harder. It's just, I don't know. I think it's because everything has to be so precise. You can't get away with like the organic fudging that occurs. Let's find some grunge. I need a grunge texture for that. I need a grunge texture. I'm gonna go crazy if I don't get a grunge texture. I need a grunge texture. Where am I gonna get one? Maybe here. Where's my table? Sorry, my brain is starting to fry here. There it is. That's not gonna work either. But it already looks better. Maybe blur it. Yeah, I gotta find a grunge texture. It's driving me crazy. Let's type in. Oh, there's one. I'm gonna see what this does. You know, we're just gonna play with this, see what kind of flavors we can get on this table. You never know. Yeah, that's kind of like smudgy, you know. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I really don't. Just sort of playing around, guys. There are no rules when you're flipping assets. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Look at that. It looks like someone barfed on the table and it stained it. And that's what we want. That's what we want, guys. Okay. What else do we got? Paintings. We need a big old fat painting. Again, free assets. Free assets all day. Select our materials here. These are all going to be URP. There's one painting. Paintings are actually a big, big part of interiors, and you just need a lot of them. You need a lot of paintings. Let's see how this is going to be tough because this asset was junk when I got it. But we're going to see if we can make it work. Okay, textures. I guess. Oh, good. We've already got textures. Yay. Oh, this is great. So let's just use these to our advantage. Let's make these sheep look creepy. I can't even tell if that looks like AI. No, I don't think it's AI. We're going to call this creepy sheep painting. All right, you guys ready to make this look creepy? And hey, we're going to match it. So very first thing we want to do, match it to the world. Okay, what color is best? I can see the photo being like a brown, like a black and white brown. Okay, so let's do that. Let's match everything to this brown. Whoa. And what I want to do, stop. What is happening? Ah, it's index color. That's why. Set it to RGB. Okay. What I want to do here, I'm actually just going to take these and cut them out. Again, benefits of having a PSD because we can have layers here. So now I can adjust the color of this. I'm going to change the green to be like a brownish color. Or maybe a blue, honestly. If I'm being honest, we could probably get away with a blue. Let's do that. So go to our yellows and just adjust it to be that bluish color in our world. And then these browns, they kind of work. But we want to be extra careful. Remember how crazy and nutty we're going to be about our color is of our what am I trying to say? Sometimes you think your color's fine and you just start sort of spitballing and then you get lazy and all of a sudden you wonder why your scene doesn't look cohesive anymore. Don't trust yourself. Okay? Trust the color scheme you've created. That matches. Good. All right, let's take a look. Throw in our new creepy sheep painting. Good. So far, so good. I feel like the matte underneath it is really boring looking. That right there. So we're going to grab a paper texture. Grab that. Put it here. That way underneath it, it's like an ugly brown. That's great. You're probably thinking, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Hang tight. Hang tight. We're going to add, specular, and we're probably going to need to normal map that, unfortunately. Although, there might be a normal map. There is no normal map, so we're going to need to create a normal map out of the wood, unfortunately. That is really unfortunate because it takes a bit, but we're going to need to do that. Let's make the sheep look weird. So we're just going to add a little bit of a blur to them. Merge these together here. We're going to do blur, motion blur. And then we're just going to make it look like something happened to their creepy faces. And then we're going to do like a darkness filter, like a vignette, weird vignette here. And then we can use like the burn. It's a little too dark. Save it, take a look. Yeah. And then merge those together. And then I'm going to use the burn tool. Where is it? Color burn. And then you can do it to their eyes. Why is my keyboard not working? Save that. Good. I'm gonna add like a grunge to it, to the paper, or to the picture. Overlay. There we go. Awesome. This one down here, probably need to brighten that up a little bit. Yeah. And we're going to shrink the size as well. There we go. Maybe even smaller. Really? Do we really need it smaller? What's that? There we go. Good enough. I'm not going to do a normal map. We're going to create some specular information for this. We can use this to create specular. So I could jump into here, go to my channels, alpha channel. There it is. Brightness, contrast, crank it up. Whenever you're adding an alpha channel for your specular, just really crank up that contrast. And you can get some really cool, interesting shines. There we go. Look at that. It's disgusting. That's all we want. Guys, that is good enough. Okay? For an indie title, that's fine. That's fine. And that's exactly what we want. We want it to be fine. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to this is actually one of the things that me and Felipe do when Felipe and I were working together. He would set dress, and then I would say, now let's do a pass where we angle everything, right? Everything gets angled. Like it's falling off the wall, you know? We'll put another painting right here. We're going to need to do another one. But what's going on? Sorry. Okay, here we go. Yep. But for this one, we're going to do a different picture. Okay. Okay, that's good. We'll paste that one into this here. We're going to call this creepy face painting. Okay, paste. There he is. And match it to the color. I think we could probably get away with that blue again. I want to use that blue. Go to our reds. And then our greens will just kill. Or the cyans, I mean. Huh. What is that? Hang on. That's our blue. Hue saturation, colorize. Trust the process, guys. Trust the process. Don't be thinking, oh, it doesn't look good. I'll stop now. No, we're going to make this look creepy. Okay. We'll put one more over top to fill in some of the shadows with a gray. There we go. We just want to fill in some of those shadows. All right. And then we're going to take all of that. We're going to do a stylized oil paint. Merge those together. Burn the eyes. Okay. I'm going to copy that one, but go back in time. Let's see here. And then, again, just a distortion. That's it. There's the face. Duplicate this material. Paint face. There we go. Hopper? Okay, what other assets do we have? For some reason, the specular's not translating. Let's figure out why. Oh, that's why. Let's go to the other painting. That's going to help a lot. Man, I need that specular. Grab that, go to creepy face, and then just again, boom. Where is it? Oh, it's right here. There we go. Isn't that great, guys? So now we've got a creepy face in the color scheme of the game. We can rotate it a little bit. And you could, guys, you can even do this. Right? And if you wanted to, indies have to take advantage of everything they've got at their disposal. So what I like to do is, if I can, create interesting layering, you know? And I'll just put on this one, I'll put on that. Whoops. Which one is it? That one there, yeah. And then I'll rotate it. So your job is to try and create diversity within your game without being diverse, without without actually having a lot of assets at your disposal, you know? Okay, let's see what else we got. A few more assets available to us. A leather chair. Maybe put it over here, right? Oh, this one's great. Okay, let's do that. -90, -90. Good. And again, you know, it as much as I wish that this worked, it doesn't work. Something's not right, right? And so your job is to go in and figure out, okay, how do I make this work and look like it fits in with this world? So number one, it's too small. It's too clean. It looks brand new. So again, we're gonna go maybe like 150 by 150 by 150. Good enough. This chair, we need to duplicate the material and drag that on there. Go to our texture here. We're just gonna grungify this thing, make it look awful, you know. Ugh. That's why horror games are so easy to make. Because, and again, match the color, guys. Grab that color, bring it on in, match it up. Matchy, matchy. Save it. Good. So far, so good. Now what we want to do is make it look disgusting. The normal map is a little too gritty, if I'm being honest. So we're actually going to blurify it. There we go. Better. And then we're going to use disgusting grunge I'm just going to paste that all over this. Like this right here. Just, ugh, right? I don't know where this chair's been. That kind of thing. Unwrap's fine. Set it to overlay. Hue saturation, drop it down, save it. Already looks like it matches our game. And then, hey, go to the alpha channel. Do the same thing. Brightness contrast. So that we're going to get some really ugly peeling of that shine. Okay, it's almost there. Yep. Chair looks good to me, man. We could get away with making that red, couldn't we, guys? Do you want to do that? Let's do it. Should probably be red. Get some color. Dude, it's such a good feeling when things start to come together. You're in every time I start a new project like this, I get a little insecure and I think, what am I doing? And then but it just starts to work, you know? Does it make sense, guys, why we're using a color scheme here? Like, this has an identity now. It has an identity. We need to shine this up. Yeah, it definitely needs to be shinier. Is this the right one? Yeah, it is. It needs to be shinier. So let's crank up that contrast. There we go. Ugh. It's like a disgusting leather chair that's just cracking. All right, we'll save this into our prefabs. Leather chair. Where is he? Hang on. Where are my prefabs? There they are. Put one over here, put one over here. Don't be afraid to just knock crap over. You know, that makes it look scary. You guys want to put some blood on there? Okay. And I'll show you here. I mean, I could type in blood, see what we get. I don't know what that is. Stain. Ink. No, there's nothing. We can't do it right now. We got too much to do. But yeah, you can just push stuff over into corners. Makes it look scary. Move this rug over here. So we're just set dressing now, right? We've got all of our assets created. Most of them. We have some wall lights we want to do. But overall, you know, we've got a pretty compelling looking environment. This couch over here, we could probably do another one over here. Look, don't be afraid to just like lean stuff up against stuff, you know? Like it just hasn't been lived in for a while. Turn off the lights so that we can see what we're doing here. Just put a couch in there, you know? Why not? It's like the landlord just stuffed a couch back here. Just creating some depth. We'll put another one here. Copy, paste. And look, obviously, guys, we could create a bunch of paintings, but we don't have all day for that. Stack two of these up, you know. This is the power of set dressing, just duplicating and angling things and moving things around. You can get away with a lot, honestly. We'll put another chair over here. We have a drawer that we could probably use about right here. right? This is all free stuff, all free assets. I'll put a link in the description for when we wrap up here. I'll put a link in the description. And by the way, guys, if you want to learn how to turn your passion for game development into an actual paycheck and learn how to get, let's make this smaller, learn how to pitch to publishers, learn how to secure funding from Kickstarter, learn how to sell your game on Steam, all the business stuff, all the marketing stuff, how to wishlist your game or get wishlist for your game, but also how to make games in Godot, in Unity, or Unreal. And also, if you want to learn 2D art and 3D art, if you want to learn all of that, check out the link below. It's 50% off my massive course. It has over 4,500 students, and check out the reviews on the website because I had all of the reviews. I believe all of the reviews, at least at the top of the page, are people who went full time from the program, which is just so cool, right? So check it out below. This sale event doesn't last forever. It's going to last for another 12 days. And in fact, I don't think it's going to last for another 12 days because it's not going to, what am I saying? It's not going to, it's going to sell out because the seats are selling pretty fast. So be sure to check it out below. See if it's something you're interested in. Okay, there's something going on here with this asset I downloaded that I hate. And it's that they created this color scheme here, and I hate it more than anything. I'm worried we're not going to be able to use this, if I'm being honest, because it's just not unwrapped properly. It's unwrapped in a terrible way that I don't like. But let's save this and see if we can salvage this furniture piece. The unwrap is like a coloring thing, and I don't like that. Duplicate this. Good. Assign it. Good. And then bring in that new texture. What the F? Okay. There we go. Let's see what it looks like here. Okay. It might be able to work. It might work. Save it and see. Okay, that's fine, I guess. We're going to need to crank up. This is just asset flipping at its worst. You just get a bunch of ugly assets that just don't work. We're going to need to scale up this to 4,000. Double it. Let's just double it. I don't know how. I can't do the math. We're going to double it. I hate doing this, but it's just for the purposes of this tutorial. And then hopefully we can get like a crisper. Yeah, it's crisper now. It looks horrible though. I hate it more than anything. Why does it look like that? Okay. I really don't like when assets are like this. What about this over here? Is that a drawer? Where are the drawers? The drawers are a separate, no, they're not a separate material. I just have to sign it. Okay. There we go. I'm going to make this work, guys. I am. I'm going to make it work. Because at the end of the day, when you're making an indie game, you can get away with this stuff. Thank God. We're going to make this work. Do you guys understand what just happened here with this asset? It's a different kind of unwrap where they just, all the materials are squares, and I hate it. Well, now it's all wood knobs. It's fine. We need to match the color to the ground. Ooh, that looks bad on the sides, but hey, we're making a horror game, so I think we'll be okay. Woo, that looks bad. But not in bad light. In dim light, it's okay. And then we're just going to grab all this. And we're going to create some fun little specular going on here. Again, go to our curves. And just really contrast this bad boy. And hopefully we get some... What? What? There it goes again. Frickin'. I cannot figure out why this is happening. There we go. I think it's because that channel, that layer mask. Okay, guys, it's fine. How are we going to make this look better? Well, we're going to put stuff on top of it. Welcome to game dev. Remove some of the drawers. Put a lamp on it. Why not? That way we can cheat. I do stuff like this all the time in Twisted Tower, where you just don't like the look of an asset, and so you just cheat. I wonder if we can increase the size of that texture to 8,000. But we can use crunch compression to reduce the actual size. And then I'm going to add more grunge to this, and I think we'll be able to get away with it. This is not ideal, I swear. I understand that. But it's okay. We're going to be okay. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to shrink it down. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And I'm going to do it again over here. Here, 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 here. And hopefully we get some size reduction here. There we go. It's better. But we're going to use crunch compression so that we can reduce the file size. And then we're going to go into the specular channel, the alpha channel, and do the same. Yeah, this is kind of looking more like Half-Life, which is fine. Merge all these together. Copy. Go to our alpha channel. Paste. And again, do our little curve trick here to create a lot of contrast. And my theory is it shouldn't look so chunky. And we'll turn off this lamp so it's more of a prop and not actually a light. Okay, good enough for me, man. Turn off this light. And the way you do this is you grab your shade, you duplicate them, and you call them off. And you just turn off the emissive. But we just need something on the table to distract, honestly, from the nightmare that is that table. And actually, I think it does. So we're going to save this as table lamp off. Move it here. It's a variant. The same is true with this guy. We're going to create drawer. Good. Maybe move this guy over here as well. Okay. This guy, make a little creepy door. So this kind of stuff goes a long way. This makes things look a little more creepier, a little bit spookier. This guy, we could probably move another one over here. We're just making do with what we've got, guys. Especially with something we've made in this short amount of time. Okay, wall lights. We need wall lights. That glass is driving me crazy. That's better. We're gonna make it darker. There we go. All right. Let's think here. We need wall lights. Lamp, classic wall. Yeah, we have this one final asset we want to use, which are these cool wall lights. I'm going to put that one over. I'm going to put it right here. Yep. That way we can use it. And I don't even know. Yeah, we don't need to do anything with it because, yeah, it works, man. 0, 180, 0. Probably make it a little bit bigger, 1.6 by 1.6 by 1.6. I'm going to go ahead and add this to our prefabs. Now, what we can do to make this feel a little bit more interesting is put a light inside of it. Whoa, wrong one. Yep. And then have it cast a shadow. Some kind of weird, interesting shadow. Does that make mathematical sense? I don't know. And we'll do a little bit more warm orange for it. That doesn't make mathematical sense. So what you could do is you can make it a spotlight. And have some of it coming out the top with no shadows. So you do this. And by the way, this is still, even if I do 2 of these, it's still cheaper than a standard point light. Because a standard point light is 4 spotlights. So this is still cheaper. Look, guys, isn't this cool? That's why we're doing that. It creates a very moody texture, and you can put it all over the place. And it's not actually lighting the scene, really, as much as it is, it's more of like a decoration. The point lights we placed earlier, those were more of our cinematic lights. We would call them, I guess, key lights or like floodlights. The ones like right here, right? These are more of like a spooky prop, right? And anywhere you've got a spot that just needs a little bit of decoration, just go ahead and put one there, you know? That's the benefit of having these wall lights. You can use them all over the place, and it just creates depth. -90. And just create maybe 2 here to create kind of a cool little moment. 3 works. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Whoa. Yeah. No. Just 2. And we're going to turn one of them off. We'll create an off one. So again, I just take the off materials and I delete the lights. And now I can call this one off. And again, you could place these all around too, just so the scene doesn't look weird, you know? So the scene doesn't look really plain and boring and empty. We're just adding depth with lights that we don't need, you know? Again, right here. In just a minute, we're going to go into sound. Put one here as well. That's going to be -360. And we'll do like 3 of them here, right? And look, you can do stuff like this. You could say, oh, it's broken. Isn't that cool? Yeah, we could do flickering lights. Maybe I should just do that really quick. But yeah, this is how it looks set dressed with all of our assets. No, I didn't see the new real-time global illumination coming to Unity, and I don't believe them, if I'm being honest. They keep talking about it, and it never happens. So I just gave up. Isn't that spooky? Little stuff like that, man. Now, to show you guys one quick thing here. Man, we really don't have time for it. Let's add a flickering light. Let's do that. Let's add a flickering light. I'm just going to do an animation. I'm going to create a table lamp flickering light. Okay. Create a new folder, animation. And I'm just going to flicker the point light first. We're going to start at 6. And it's going to go down to 5. Back up to 6. And then quickly go down to 1. Back to 6. Down to 3. Back to 6. Go to 5. Yeah. Slow that one down and add this again. This part is a little bit intense. Let's go to like 3. Yeah, that's better. Do it again here, but slower. It's fine. It's all we really need. Definitely valuable. Okay. Really, we don't need much post-processing. What we do need is potentially fog. So let's go ahead and see if we can add some fog in here. Notice how we're not using fog at all yet. So if I add in fog, what I want it to be is maybe even a dusty brown. So we'll see. And then let's see if I can just crank that up. Let's try that. Save it. Hit play. Yeah, it looks much better. Probably need to desaturate it, make it a little bit farther. Desaturate a little bit. Yeah, it's tempting. It's tempting as a developer to just constantly go hardcore with everything. Lots of fog, lots of lens flare and bloom. And it's like, no, chill out, hang tight, calm down. All right, let's find some horror music. I'm going to head on over to artlist.io. I don't recommend artlist.io. I've said this a million times. I don't even recommend licensing music because it gets flagged on YouTube anyway. Horror ambient. There we go. Good. Grab that, put it into our scene. Really easy to do. Just go to create a new folder in Explorer. I'm going to call this Sounds. I'm just going to put this in here. Let it load. Sounds. Where did it go? For some reason, it's not there. Okay, it happened twice and I don't know where it went. Is it in the walls? Boy, I don't know where it went. It went somewhere. We're just going to put it on our character controller. And we're going to feel this out. We're going to set it to 0.5. Set it to loop. And let's feel it out. Brilliant. Looks good. One final thing that we could do, guys, to really, get the biggest bang for our buck is we could find, a texture called like, I don't know. Let's see here. Do they have any decals? There's no decals. We may need to create our own decal. So, and by the way, what I wanted to do, what I was hoping to do for this tutorial was add some grunge to the walls. I totally forgot to do that. So let's do that really quick. And then we'll talk about decals, okay? But if I go to our Poly Haven and I type in like stain, the goal is to find some kind of ugly, gross, grungy stain. I'm going to grab this and I'm going to make this work. Watch me do it. If I put this at the top of this and I set it to be really dark, like that, and this is actually really, really valuable. So I'm glad I remembered to do this. If you do that and then you do something like this, just hang tight. It'll make sense. And I do this and put it at the top. Look at that. Now all of my walls have this grungy stain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this. I'm going to save it as plaster stained at top. I don't know, something very descriptive. And then we're going to go back to our blue plaster and then actually bring in that new texture we created. And so now it's got this gross stain kind of rippling through the top. I'm going to create a very strong contrast hit so that it's easy to see, pretty obvious what's happening. There we go. And then what I could do is I could create white drips coming down from the top, blur it. We're almost there. We just need a little bit more texture going on in the scene, if I'm being honest. And I could put these, this is going to make sense, I promise. These little drips are going to be dripping down from the ceiling. The reason they're white is because we're going to use this for the mask. Good. Okay, I'm going to merge all this together, squash it, and then warp it. Good, like that. This we get rid of. That we get rid of. Get rid of. Merge all these together. And what's going to happen is we're going to get kind of a textured dripping on this. There we go. Okay, we're going to kind of mix the two. Blur, motion blur. Maybe Gaussian blur it a little bit. Yeah. There we go. Gross. Maybe move it up a little bit. It's a little too obvious. There we go. Oh, yeah. There we go, Thomas. See, I knew what I was doing. Just a disgusting drip. Honestly, you could probably do it at the bottom just to make it feel matchy-matchy, but without the dripping. Yeah. Okay. So I really like that texture. And what I want to do is I want to create a decal that has this vibe. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this, duplicate it, delete everything else. This right here is great. I need a decal of this. I need a decal that I can place that looks like there's just this ugly dirt that's coming through various parts of the level. So I'm going to just delete this layer mask and do this. And then I'm going to blur it. Click OK. This decal is all I really need to just place throughout. Plaster decal. I'm going to place this throughout the scene in quads. Create a new 3D object, quad. This decal we can use over and over, like right here. Where's my plaster decal? Right there. Good. I'm going to set it to transparent. Maybe even do like an additive. Or no, we're just going to do alpha. You want to make sure that you go to the actual texture import settings and remove alpha's transparency, or set alpha's transparency and remove PSD matte. You don't want the specular information preserved. And now we've got these ugly decals. I'm going to saturate and make them look kind of green. Crank up that contrast, baby. Yes. All right. Decals are your best friend as an indie. You got to have them. I would be doing in this tutorial if I didn't feel like we needed them. No specular. I'm going to crank this up here. Boom. And then I'm going to move this decal. It's going to call it a grunge decal. And I can use this everywhere, guys. You do that. Do that. Some of them can be really big, you know, and you can do like this. problem with doing that is that you got to make sure you do it on the other side too. Like this. So that it makes sense. Okay? But do you see why this is so valuable? You could put them underneath here. Like, if it ever feels too clean, you just go, okay, we're going to put a freaking decal here. Just dirty up the scene. Dirty up the floors. Don't be afraid to make it messy. It's okay. Rotate them. Just use them all over the place. Get rid of that Z fighting. I don't know what that is. Does it matter? It looks gross, though. It looks real gross. Okay, maybe move one right here as well. Yeah, put one on the floor right here. Like something's growing over here. I don't know what it is. Okay. We can use some decals over here as well on the walls. One big one right here, maybe. Sort of coming up through the wall here. The only problem is you just want to make sure that you put one on the floor wherever that's happening. So it looks like something's growing. I don't know what that is. The ceiling, same thing, guys. Look, it's like, okay, well, the ceilings look really flat and boring. Well, let's solve that, you know? And again, you don't have to know what these decals are. It could be mold for all I care. I don't know what that is. And in fact, my theory is that these decals are going to make all the difference. And it's at the 11th hour, you know, it's like right before I'm ending the stream. You get some really cool looking stuff. Decals, set dressing, all that stuff needs to be done at the end. End of a level design, because I don't want to go decal everything and then all of a sudden turns out players hate this level and it's boring and we need to redesign it, you know? Yeah, we need one in here for sure. Hang tight, y'all. Hang tight. Don't center it. There we go. Yep, we need more. Right here, maybe. Another one right over here. Keep going. And a lot of people, you know, they'll think, oh, this is all texture. You know, it's textures on the actual model. It's like, no. Bunch of decals. Bunch and bunches of decals. Just to make it look lived in and disgusting. This one, probably too much, if I'm being honest. This one needs to be bigger. Okay, let's feel it out again with the music. Decal projectors are a pain in the butt, in my opinion. And I can't get into it right now. Do you guys see why that was so important? This looks like a Valve game in 2007. Looks good. All right. Silent Hill remastered. Do you think it looks like that? Yeah, could be. Guys, if you thought that was super duper helpful and you want to take your career further, I'm going to give you one quick ad read here. Okay. So if you're interested in turning 2026 into a year where you have a resource available to you at all times for your lifetime, which teaches you indie game marketing, pitching to publishers, how to do crowdfunding, how to hit the Steam front page, how to reach out to the press, but also how to make a game in Godot, Unity, or Unreal. But for this New Year's sale, you're going to get all of that for 50% off. It's a massive course. I've got 4,500 students worldwide. And look, lots of them went full time, which is so cool to say. You know, it's not easy. I can't make any promises, but I can just tell you, look, lots of my students, with the help of the course, went full time. These are real people. You can reach out to them. You're also going to get my 2D art program and my 3D art programs completely free. You're going to learn from an actual indie game developer who's making games right now. I'm currently published by 3D Realms on my third commercial release. It's called Twisted Tower. And a lot of these principles that we covered today are actually what I use in Twisted Tower. So check it out below. See if it's something you're interested in. 30-day money-back guarantee. So you got 30 days to figure out if this course was actually what you had hoped. So check it out below. Hey, you're also going to get, this is really cool, you're going to get 2 private hours with me with like 12 other students. Usually about 12 people show up. Whenever I have a big sale, I like to offer 2 free hours of consulting in a private mastermind group. And if you can't make it, it's recorded and I'll send you the recording. But if you can, we get to hang out on Discord in a video call. You guys can ask me as many questions as you want. This is a great deal. This is going to end before the timer, honestly, because these are selling fast this year. So check it out below. I won't have a big sale event like this for a while. I love you guys. I hope that was helpful. And you guys found a lot of fun in this big masterclass where we talked about what I'm going to do differently in 2026, but also using some of those principles and applying them to this. By the way, if you're a student in one of my programs, let me know in the chat what you think about the programs. Dang, that looks good. I'm sorry. For like 2 days, what was this, like a total of 5 hours? This looks awesome. I mean, it really does. I mean, come on. And if I want to take the camera here and take a big, I can't cuss, a big screenshot here of this just creepy room. Let's see. Yeah. That's great. I love the sheep. And let's post this on Twitter. Let's post it on Twitter. All free assets, totally commercially and royalty free. Totally royalty. I can't wait for the full video to drop. I did this live in a handful of hours. I love that. It really turned out great. Let's see if we can grab a few more screenshots and post this to Twitter. Many of these textures, again, guys, were used textures from my own house, you know, which is just so cool. Yeah, but check out that course below, guys. I mean, I really do. I think it's awesome for you. There's so many students who they learned how to pitch their games to publishers and they got published, which was so cool. And I never make any promises. Game dev is not easy. No, it is not. But my goal is to show you, hey, look, it's not easy, but I'm going to show you what I've done and what's worked for me. You know, that's my big goal. I'm trying to find like some cool shots. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, That's a great shot. Choose up to 4 photos, videos, or GIFs. Dang, that looks good. I'll post this one. I like the top view one. Let's see if we could post that and see what it looks like. That's great, man. I kind of feel like I've figured out game dev. Like the art side. I just feel like I've become so fast at it. I hate to say that because I always hate what I make. But like I feel really like that feels really good. And it's all free assets. You know? Was that a total of 3 hours? Well, I also did yesterday I did like subtle texture work. But this looks freaking awesome. That's a cool shot. I can imagine like Leon or Jill running through here. You know? That's how I think this is how horror games are made, you know? All right, I love you guys so much. A big shout out to these new students. And if you want a shout out tomorrow, check out the course below. And I will give you a shout out. I'll give you a shout out on Monday, actually. Alexander, John, Tyler, Russell, Ian, Michael, Justin, Soren, Fariton, Chad, Alex, Raymond, Iggy, and Charles. Thank you so much for joining Full Time Game Dev. And thanks everybody for hanging out